Poverty, a state of lack or lack of resources to live in. Have you ever worried about the seriousness of poverty? Let's see how much serious it is through some facts according to United Nations data. There are more than 700 million people living in poverty. According to United Nations Development Program's data, 736 million people are still living in extreme poverty. 55% of the world has no access to social protection, leaving 4 million people in social danger. To look at the problem more deeply, Sub-Saharan Africa is one of the locations with the largest increase in extreme poverty. People in Sub-Saharan Africa live on less than $1.90 a day. Poverty in those areas are even more severe nowadays as a result of the pandemic. Furthermore, poverty affects children disproportionately. 20% of children live in extreme poverty, and the poverty they experience in their early years have high possibility of poverty that can last for their whole lifetime. Due to the seriousness of the problem, no poverty is selected as the #1 Sustainable Development Goals. Then what is the status quo of the problem, and what are the solutions? First, let's briefly see what the factors of poverty are. #1. Hunger. Hunger is one of the biggest factors that leads to extreme poverty. Because of hunger, people lack strength to work and earn money. For example, in Ethiopia, stunting such as hunger contributes to 16% loss of the nation's GDP. Secondly, poor infrastructure and sanitation. About the poor infrastructure. In poor countries where infrastructure has not improved, even basic rights are lost. About sanitation, more than 2 billion people do not have access to clean water at home. Sanitation is directly linked to health, therefore, it must be a serious problem to deal with. Then what can help to eradicate poverty existing in the world? First, improving management of natural resources. Among many forms of poor, rural poor accounts for a big amount of it. Rural poor depends on agriculture and natural resources. Therefore, it is essential to allow more equitable access to resources. Investing in and implementing agricultural programs can be another solution. China, for example, applied this solution to solve the problem and could eliminate poverty step by step over long years. Applying this to other countries can also be successful. Eradicating poverty in all its forms remains one of the greatest challenges facing humanity. While the number of people living in extreme poverty dropped, too many are still struggling for the most basic human needs. It's time for everyone to stand up and step forward to eradicate poverty. Thank you for listening.